Finally getting around to doing the review on the Seaside and Beyond. My board is 6'8", 20 3/4 wide, 2 5/8 thick. Comes in at 40.9 liters. I'm 5'8" and 145 pounds at max. This board is pretty much the stretched out version of the Seaside, and Rob Machado, when he was playing around with the dimensions and trying to come up with different designs, I think he said, and these are his words, this board was a game changer. I believe his first board was a stretched out version of the Go Fish, which he said he liked it, but it didn't change anything. It just kind of intrigued him. And then the Seaside and Beyond, the stretched out Seaside, changed everything. One important thing to note is the different dimensions of this board. In the first set, Rob Machado released, or Firewire released, the 6'8", 7'0", and 7'4". And then in a second set, they released the 6'10", the 7'2", and the 7'6". Now when you look at the dimensions, it's easy to tell that the first three that Rob designed were for more advanced surfers and allowed for beginners and intermediates to be able to surf them. But specifically the second set appears that it was made for the beginner intermediate because they're much wider and much more volume. So if you look at the 6'10", it has 2 liters more than the 7'0" of the first set. One thing worth mentioning is that the first set appears to come in LFT and the second set comes in TimberTech. Now let's get into the concaves of the board. So way up on the nose, kind of like domed. Seems like they're always rounded with the edges falling off a bit. About a quarter of the way back, you could start seeing the single concave. One thing about this board, it has really heavy concaves. Probably deeper than any of the other Machado boards. So this is, I believe, about a third of the way back. And as you go further back, you'll notice that it starts to drop. Now, I think about a third of the way back, there's a double concave that's set within the single concave. And here, sorry, it's out of focus, but I put my thumb down just to kind of show you the depth of it. And it's over a 1/4 inch. I should have probably put a ruler just so you can get an exact measurement, but it's pretty deep. And that double concave is also very deep. I probably should have measured that compared to the single concave. But this is right in front of the front fins. I'm not sure at what point it's the deepest, but I don't think that's important. Here I'm in front of the second fins, and still a double concave within a single. And then behind the rear fins, it turns into a spine. So a spiral V, I think that's what they call it. You could sort of see it rock back and forth. So at this point, let's just get into it. I am surfing this board on a very high tide, not so big, maybe 2 to 4 foot day. That's day one. And it's a little soft, but what I'm finding about this board is I like it in these conditions. Kind of a fatter, slopey wave. It seems to have a lot of speed, and because your turns are not going to be pivoty, it's going to be kind of rounded and longer. The slopier waves seem to be really fun. I can, you see me here on this last wave. If you saw, I was looking down, and I kept looking for the back pad and how far I could get on it. I think coming off a short board, and then when you paddle this, you're kind of paddling up front because all the volume's in the front. You end up too far up when you pop up, so you literally have to adjust right away. So the great thing about this board in these slopey conditions is you can really press on your back foot. And because the wide point is so far in front of your front foot, you can't dig a rail. I mean, maybe you can, but I had a hard time. I mean, I am a very heavy front-footed surfer, and I dig rail quite a bit, especially backhand. And this board, I couldn't get it to, I couldn't sink the rail. So I literally just press on the back foot as best I could, hard as I could, and the thing would just jet up the face, and then I'd kind of do a, soft turn. Like I said, it's not very pivoty. Apologies on my solo shot. Once I start surfing south, I don't know why, but it literally starts to move. But you saw me like just do a little off the lip. I don't know, I really like this board, surfing it backhand. Just press on the tail. Right now I'm trying to stay within the pocket, but you could kind of see it, and then I think I do a little floater here. And that was pretty fun. But the board is surprisingly maneuverable. For as long as it is, it maneuvers really well. It's just, it maneuvers very slowly. And I don't know if it's that straight rail. The one thing my brother and I were discussing is he says he has a hard time turning it, like doing a cutback. And I find this to be easier to do a cutback on than any of my other boards in terms of, not within the same radius, but in terms of just pressing on it and being able to feel confident that I'm not going to fall over or dig a rail. And I think it's because it's so long. I was saying to my brother that you almost have to lift the nose up and let the front half weight of the board fall, and that board basically turns itself. And so here, just pressing on my back foot, and literally you can kind of see it start to chatter like it's pushing me up the face. I've surfed this on a smaller day, and it's not as fun. Obviously, I think it's just going to be harder to surf a smaller day with a long board. It's a good groveler. It gets you in early. It allows you to surf the waves well. You just don't get to turn as much. But and this is a small wave right here at the end of it, so that's what it kind of looks like. But I think where this thing shines is when it gets big and slopey like this. You can get in early, the little floater there, and then a foam climb. And then I blew this last turn. I think I was just trying to baby it, and then it ended up just knocking me down. I should have just really slammed it. Again, super easy to paddle. Really, really easy to control for as big as it is. You have to surf the very back though. I am on the tail pad. And it does feel weird because I'm so used to a short board, and this thing is way out in front of me. So this was a long wave, but here's day 2 now, and it's a little bit bigger day, and it was again another soft day. I either would have taken out my Timber Tech, my twice baked, or this board, and I chose this one. That first one was funny. I thought I was going to do an off the lip, but then the face looked longer than my board, and I thought I better not. And that one I just caught a little chop. But this is what, like a 3-foot day, maybe 3.5. Yeah. So really slopey, another high tide day. And this board is just super fun and just different. Now, this is where I talk about, you see the cutback, and I wish the stupid camera wouldn't do this, a solo shot, but that's where I'm letting the board fall almost down the face, and it's turning me. And I didn't have enough speed there for that last turn, but this is one of my bigger waves, and I kind of wanted to see how big I could take it, and I wish it was bigger, but yeah. For some reason, I thought I was going to make it out of that. After looking at the footage, I realized there was no chance. It just pinched too much. But yeah, it's a really fun board, and I'm glad I have it. My brother bought this for me for my 50th birthday, 2019, and I'm so glad he did because it's a fantastic board, super fun. Although him giving it to me on my 50th, I wonder if I should be insulted. I wonder if he was saying, hey, you're getting too old, you should ride a bigger board. Anyways, if you saw the little bird, funny story, as I was coming out of the water, I noticed a bird perched on my solo shot and kept flying off every time it was tracking me, and then he'd fly back on. And by the time I made it all the way back to the camera and I looked at my camera, the bird had pooped all over it. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the review. Thanks for watching. Always appreciated. And if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and definitely comment. I think it helps for many to read some of the comments, because I'm definitely not the authority on any of this stuff. So if there are some experts out there, it'd be much appreciated.